Guys, are you a possible rock band or solo musician looking for representation and a way to secure shows? Well, our newest sponsor, Cranial Nerve Records, can help. This organization has been fundamental in securing live shows from the podcast, and we couldn't be more grateful for them. Reach out to them for bookings via email at cranialnerverecords@gmail.com. Guys, Stutterbox Productions is a backbone for many of the events that you see in the Midwest, from EDM festivals to late-night hip-hop shows. This company has been working closely with the podcast since the beginning, and we always have plenty of things planned for the future. So, if you're looking to plan your next gig or event, head over to their Facebook page to learn more today. Guys, you know them, you love them. Guerrilla Graphics Design Agency can provide you top-tier effects and production value. They have everything you can ask for, including professional equipment and a stellar end product from top to bottom. Head over to GUERRILLAGRFX.com for all of your design needs today. That's GUERRILLAGRFX.com. Ladies and gentlemen, what's up? This is the McAllister's Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Cole McAllister. We're joined today with returning guest, Silence, hip-hop artist from Cedar Rapids.
Yes, sir.
I always confuse Cedar Rapids and Cedar Falls every time.
It's all right. It's close. It's close.
Close enough. How you doing today, man?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
So it's been a long day.
Yeah, it's good to have you back. You, like you were saying before, it seems like you were on a weekend of, always being busy, constantly doing shit. What have you been all doing with your weekend here in Des Moines?
Yesterday we had a meeting, pretty important meeting. Then we did an artist showcase at Lefty's. Huge turnout, amazing. Des Moines shows way more love for their local music scene than any city in Iowa I've ever been to.
Wow.
Like, that stood out yesterday. Like, people, they weren't leaving right after their friends left. They were staying for the whole show. They were cheering everybody on. There was multiple times they chanted for everybody. And I can honestly say I've never seen another city's support system be like that. So that was super dope to be able to be a part of that. Then today we had the African American Festival at the Horizons Event Center. So had a couple artists perform there, did some networking and everything, and now I'm here.
Hell yeah.
So, and then a video shoot tomorrow. So
yeah, you going crazy, man. A lot of people come through this the studio, but you're one of the few that stand out to me as like, what they, if they want to do their shit full time, like you're doing, like what they want to be, like that is you in essence. So I really love having you in here, man. It's
appreciate that. I appreciate that. I work with people who make it look like I do it part time. So like I constantly try to compete and keep up with them. So it's one of those. I have a great team that kind of pushes me. So
hell yeah. Speaking of like Des Moines local music, you should reach out to Lolo Savage.
I know of him.
You do? Okay.
Yes.
He runs the hip hop showcase.
Okay.
Here in Des Moines that happens I think like once every 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
Which has been instrumental.
I talked to a dude yesterday that's doing a showcase. It might be the same showcase, but he owns a food company, Belly or something like that. Had amazing soul food. He was talking about it like artists put in so much money to be on it, and then a winner takes all type thing. So I don't know if it's the same thing, but I've heard of Lolo Savage. I thought he was out of Waterloo originally, though. So Oskaloosa.
Okay. That's where he's originally from.
So
yeah. He kind of hops back and forth between, but he's in Des Moines now currently. Like
nice.
If you want to come back to Des Moines or for any reason you're coming back and doing stuff here, I would definitely hit him up.
Definitely, I'll have to look into that. I think we have a mutual connection, Lyrical, that can probably plug me on that one. So yeah, that's pretty dope.
So tell me, man, what kind of stuff you've been working on since you last been in here?
Man, I've just been busy. So a lot of people, they tend to content drop at the end of the year. So fourth quarter comes and they feel they got to get everything out. Me, I don't. I become a hoarder. I don't release anything in fourth quarter because I don't want to drown myself while everybody else is doing theirs. Like we had the conversation last time when you post something and if you just keep posting, it kind of pushes it under. Well, it's the same thing with other people. So I kind of hold off and I plan for first, second, third quarter of this year. So I've got the album I Have Silence that dropped in October. I think it was October. Yeah, October. That's out, so I'm going to give that a full push. Try to get some radio play on that. Linked up with a couple core DJs recently, which is a big DJ coalition that breaks a lot of music. Planning a trip to South by Southwest to go to the keynote speaking stuff. So I got a lot in the works right now. New music being made. Got a situation with a major label that I get to go hopefully close this month.
Nice.
So got some stuff working. So.
Yeah, making some big steps.
Yeah. If you look at my social media, it kind of looks like I've just been doing nothing, but I'm tagged in everything because I'm at everything. But I've kind of fallen back on taking pictures at everything I'm at. Like if I'm constantly, I got so much content to post now from last year alone. If I'm still taking pictures of everything and posting everything, it's like people are going to get bored of me. That's something that I've kind of caught on. It's just like if I perform at every showcase, it's just another silent showcase. Versus if I perform once a quarter or twice a quarter, it's like, oh, we've got to go to this one. So I'm kind of doing that with my content now where I've got a big enough following that when I put it out, I don't have to drown them and keep them up to date every 30 seconds anymore. So
Sure. Do you like get overwhelmed by like the amount of content that you have?
Yes.
I can imagine.
All the time. Like, I'll be like, what do I need to post? I haven't posted today. Should I post? Like, but I just posted this, so I need to post something different, or I need to share somebody's stuff. So it gets to days where I just like move my phone away from me. Like, just kind of decompress. That part of me is going to be there. Let me distract myself for a little bit so I can come back, because I mean, I know so many people have just given up because they either get overwhelmed or they just lose that drive because it's always down their throat. So
yeah, well, I mean, speaking of the phone, that's a big part of the problem, right? It's just like how it's fucking designed. Like I can relate to that in several issues, whether it's like, thirst traps or like, just like trying to stay focused on something that's other than social. Like
exactly.
It's like they've talked about like the people, at Facebook who've like admitted to like programming things like in order to directly addict people.
Yeah.
Like the Instagram, like they paint as like, oh, it's this whole, it's not targeting, young teenage girls, but I mean it really is. Like it's programming, like they're moralists.
No, that's facts. And that's a huge thing. Like if I open up my phone, I've got 3 or 4 social media apps. That's, however 5-10 minutes to update each one of those and make sure that I'm doing everything right, following whatever algorithm. And then if I get off of that, I've got my streaming apps, so I can easily bounce over to a TV show or music or whatever else. Then you have your creation apps, so you can go do your little word puzzles or whatever it is. And it's like it's all meant to keep this thing in your hand. There's literally no reason now to do anything outside of putting this here. Everything you could do in real life is right here. And I feel like that's kind of a problem with society. Everybody's so hung up on this device, everything that's involved in this digital world versus real life experiences. And that's something that I'm trying to get back into, is getting away from this thing. So
do you have any methods for trying to divide those things up, like the creative apps? Because that's a very good point you make, and a point that I've always made. It's like, yeah, we would all love to like go live in the woods, but like then we're not going to be able to do the podcast or the music or like we're these things that do bring us importance. Like we're not going to be able to do that either. So what's the balance? I don't know. Do you have any, like, do you put timers or like anything on your shit?
No, if I'm on the phone, it's either for communication or for business. There's no in between anymore. Like when I'm listening to music in the car or whatever, it automatically connects, or I'm putting on a podcast that's educating me. Like I have a daily routine now with reminders that tell me like, hey, don't forget you need to brush your teeth today. As funny as people will be like, oh, you don't brush your teeth. It's like, no, I get so busy I forget to eat alone. Like I need reminders. Yeah. So I have like, brush your teeth, go to the gym, listen to an informative podcast, read for 10 minutes, make sure to handle your socials, and they have time limits on them from this time to this time. Don't forget to eat, don't forget to shower, make sure I'm progressing as a human being. Because I feel like you lose so much with this device that you forget your basics. Yeah. Like, I know so many people that drown in their phone nonstop, and then it's like, oh, fuck, I forgot to feed my animals today. Yeah, it's probably an important fucking thing to do. Go feed them. Like, if you got to set a reminder, set a reminder. Who cares if they laugh? But you need to remind yourself. And like you said, a lot of people be like, oh, I'm busy, but they're not. the video games, TV, cell phone, whatever it is, versus the people who are actually super busy. It's like, now I got to find time for the other stuff, let alone lose my life for an hour into this thing a day. So
yeah, it's a hard thing to balance. Yeah, I have a calendar that like I stick to.
Yeah,
like that's like my like I have to live by that. Like
yeah, it's structure.
Structure. Yep. Exactly. It's a tough thing to battle in this in this climate.
It's a digital world at this point. Like, and I feel like so many people forget that, where it's like, this is real life. What happens when fucking, what was it, Y2K back in the day, where all computers were supposed to crash? What if that actually happens? Like in the communications industry, they have cable boxes, right? Everybody knows about a cable box.
Yeah.
There's things, digital transmitters or whatever, that are scheduled to die in August of 2024. Right? They no longer is going to work. You have to remove that piece of equipment and upgrade to something else. And that RF frequency is no longer going to be a thing for you to use. Right? So now you have to change to like an IPTV type situation where it's like YouTube or streaming or something directly, right? Those devices are scheduled to die. They scheduled this back when they were making them in like the 80s and the 90s. Like, hey, in 30 years, we'll kill these things off. And nobody thought that day was going to come. What happens if a modern day Y2K happens and all technology fails? You're just going to forget how to survive. You're going to forget how to do paperwork or how to go outside and ride your fucking bicycle. Like, you're going to forget those things because of this. Like, we have to find a way to divide and get away from this digital world.
Yeah. I do wonder if there's just like too many, firewalls and, safe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if this thing happened that you're talking about, like, there's so many different countries, there's so many different forms of centralized communication and like an understanding technology that like we could like rebuild semi-frequently in a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be completely like, in the woods. But
we wouldn't be shit out of luck. Yeah. Unless there was like a nuclear holocaust or something. Then I could see maybe being like, fuck. I've been training on this with Fallout for decades.
Yeah, that shit's crazy. Do you think about like the like what's going on in Russia, Ukraine? Do you have any do you wonder if that's going to end? What do you think? Do you think it's going to end poorly or in a good sense?
From the information that I've gained recently, from Germany, Canada, and us sending tanks over to Ukraine, and Russia not being a NATO country, so that being a direct conflict of, hey, we're going to supply them, but we want to stay out of this. We're just going to give them the shit to fight you. I feel like that might escalate into a full world conflict, just like when Germany was doing some foul shit. I think it'll be China, Iran, and Russia. And then in modern news, we just shot down a Chinese spy balloon that was floating over the United States.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
That was yesterday.
Damn.
Yeah, like it was spent the whole week flying over continental United States over like hot zones, and it was a full-on Chinese balloon. Like they tried saying it was a civilian research device, but that goes to show our Patriot system doesn't work the way it's supposed to work. Bomb that bitch before it gets here, and you didn't. So they waited till it got over the East Coast and then dropped it, and that was yesterday. So that kind of goes to lock in that Russia-China situation. We already don't fuck with Iran because of their situation. So I do have strong concerns that it might become a crisis. I've been on this crazy military kick recently and have fully become prepared to re-enlist. The minute it kicks off, I'm gone. Like, let's go. Let's run this because I still have people I need to protect, and if it escalates to that point,
do we have a knife? Can we cut this man's pinky off?
So I'm there. I'm ready for it. If it happens, it happens. But that's where I think this is going to escalate. I think this is going to become a global crisis, just with how this has been playing out. And that brings me to Russia. You could stomp a mud hole in fucking Ukraine with your eyes closed. And I feel like you've been dragging it out and playing fucking just with them. Like you're playing with your food. You mean to tell me one of the largest global superpowers can't step on a small country like Ukraine? And just, you're done?
Yeah. Well, okay, so to be fair, I don't actually really know that much about the Russia-Ukraine. I feel like I've kind of checked out to it like the entire time.
That's fair.
and we don't need to get down this road, but like I feel like that there are certain things about like trying to focus more on like what's happening like in Iowa. Like it's kind of interesting. Like I wanted to ask you this, like how is that just part of your regimen that you? Jeez, I don't know what's going on with my mic. Like part of that regimen, how you like stay informed is just. Like, do you have a time in your day where you look at the news and like try to? Okay.
Yep.
I need to get into that more.
Yeah. So for me, it's one of those things of if I'm on any type of social media platform, if I'm not promoting myself or doing business, I'm not just aimlessly scrolling my timeline. I'm actually looking up things that are going on that I've overheard somebody talking about, or I'll stop and I'll just go open up a news article. Like what's going on in the U.S. mail or whatever, and they'll be like, oh, Russia this, or Amazon sold so many whatever, or they're launching this new application. And then if something catches my attention, I'll dig a little more into it. And I'm like, oh, what's going on here? I know currently because of the things I've been Googling, if I, how everybody's like my FBI agent is panicking. He's like, what the fuck is going on with this kid? Why is he Googling these things? Why is he traveling to they're connecting dots that are not there, but I get it. I recently joined a MilSim airsoft team. So it's military simulation airsoft. I've had to buy plate carriers and tourniquets and like all sorts of shit just to do this fucking combat sport. So I know they're questioning some of the things that I've researched recently. Like I discovered they do Humvee tactical vehicles with mounted miniguns that shoot airsoft bullets and drive around with them. They do helicopter infills with airsoft. I'm like, bro, so when you look at what I'm Googling, you're like, wait a minute, what the fuck? So yeah, so I definitely go into my tangents and my rabbit holes on information. So yeah, that's
crazy, dude. I guess my problem is like I have a hard time like not getting emotionally invested.
That's fair.
Like when like it's and this is a real problem. Like I acknowledge it's a real problem, but like I genuinely get upset by like things that happen in the news. Like it will ruin my day. I'll be like, this happened. Like I'm just so bad this happened. It's awful. Like it's strayed me from like wanting to get into like a serious like political, because like I just can't handle it, man. I don't know what it is. That's probably just me, my own unhealthy ways of coping with shit. I'm definitely willing to admit that. But like, yeah. So I guess, do you have any of that? Do you ever struggle with like any like personally, like if something happens in Russia, Ukraine, like is there a part of you that gets upset?
No.
Like, how do you just?
No, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I don't care. I find reasons to be like, man, fuck that. And it's tough for me. Like, there's a lot where I'm just like, it's not a me problem. When it becomes a me problem, then we'll deal with it. But when it comes to like news or stuff going on that doesn't directly affect me, and as of right now, it's not directly affecting me, but I am a be prepared person, which is why I've considered the military and been like, okay, if this happens, what do I need to do? Am I going to stand on the side, or am I going to go be fucking Leroy Jenkins and let's charge into this shit? So like I don't really have that emotional investment in like society, I guess, that it's not directly on me.
Yeah. I am kind of curious, like, So if we engage, so if like the U.S. decides to completely back Ukraine and we engage in war with Russia, you will go and like
I will drop whatever I'm doing at that very moment and go to the nearest recruitment center. I don't give a fuck. I mid-stroke having sex. Boop, going to war. All right, I'm out.
That's fun. Too bad.
like I'm gone. And the reason behind that is I think of what would I have done if I was of age when 9/11 happened. Would I have dropped everything and ran? Would I have questioned and waited for answers? Would I what would I have done at that time? Like I was in first grade.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing shit then. But I hear stories about where some of the guys like fresh out of the military, and then it happens like they're retired, and it happens and instantly right back in the fight. So and considering how large of a power Russia is, like that's people's nightmares. The U.S. and Russia going at it, like that. Those nightmares are created off of that. I think that if that decision is made, it's a matter of hours before it's potentially on our home front. How long is a flight from Russia to here? We just had a spy balloon over us for a week and we didn't do shit about it. Our Patriot system that's supposed to drop shit before it gets over continental United States didn't do shit. So how long does it take before you drop boots on ground and we finally realize what the fuck's going on? How long until a missile hits us from there to here when that decision's made? How many times does Korea launch something and then we hear it in the news and nothing was done to prevent it, but we're supposed to have all of this superpower at South Korea? It's flying over South Korea and nothing's happening. People are getting bombed in certain areas. We just bombed or we blew up drones or something over Iran.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, we do that kind of shit all the time.
Yeah. So if we can do that, what says another superpower can't do it?
Yeah.
Right.
I guess here would be like, it's kind of funny you bring up 9/11 because that seems like one of the worst examples.
Yeah.
Being like going to being like, I'm going to go to war because like not like that ended in that was a disaster.
Exactly.
Like how they ended that.
And that wasn't even against a superpower.
Yeah. So why would you want to go fight against Russia?
Because if I don't, who will?
If
it comes down to so many people have to go or we're going to lose. How do we know that if we lose, they're not going to adopt us into the People's Republic of whatever, and they just execute every American? What if I don't think
they need a war to do that.
No, exactly.
They're already doing that in TikTok.
But like, what stops? I guess at what point do you get involved to try to prevent it?
I would say 0.
See, I got to get involved. I'm a conflict person. I'm like, let's do this. Like, you said what? Let's go. Like, I am very run into it Leroy Jenkins style. 100%. 100%.
Yeah. As a libertarian, I believe in the non-aggression principle.
That's fair.
Which is not to start shit that.
Yeah, no, I'm going to shoot you in your face if you question me. Like, that's my mentality. Like, let's do this.
Guys, this was a fun podcast.
No, but again, that goes to it doesn't directly involve me. Right now, I'm not enlisting. I don't have a reason to enlist. I've considered it. I've weighed my options, but there's no direct reason. Now, if we go to war with somebody, a superpower at that, I've got people I need to protect. I've got nieces and nephews that need to grow up and live life, and I know their family's not doing it. I know their dad's not doing it. I know their uncles aren't doing it because that's the type of person they are. For me, I was in the Army. Like, I'm
you're former Army?
Yeah, so okay. I'm fully prepared and ready to go defend people. When I did that was just I want to go. Now I've got people that look up to me and look out for me, and I've got people I feel I need to protect and defend. And I'll feel like a shitty fucking person if something happens to them and I'm just sitting like, not my problem. I'm good, hands free. Like, now I'm also going to feel like a shitty person if I go get involved in some shit like, Afghanistan, where we probably shouldn't have been involved. This is a firm example of mind your own fucking business, America, but obviously we don't know how to do that. So we're going to yeehaw this to the grave.
You're preaching to the choir on that one, bro.
We're going to yeehaw this to the grave. So...
Yeah, that's interesting. In all sincerity, if you do go, I hope you stay safe. I would hate to see you get nuked.
Yeah, Jesus, God, that would suck. I guess there is one dude that survived that, so we're gonna weigh my odds. I guess he survived both bombs.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't know how true that is. I saw something on it.
He got bombed and he walked to the next city.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, so I watched one of those like informational things, and it was like, yeah, he survived a bomb. And then I think Riley shared a thing about it, and I guess he was in Nagasaki or whichever one was the second bomb, and was like talking to somebody about it, like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened, and then fucking they got bombed again. It's like, bro, at what point do you think just leave?
Yeah, right. Like, get the fuck out.
If you survive 2 nuclear bombs and you don't do shit with your life, you probably should shoot yourself. Like, let's be honest.
You don't have superpowers?
Yeah, like 2 of them bitches, and you still just shoveling grass. Like, yeah, I'm a construction worker. No. Hell no.
Oh, not to shit on construction workers, but I had a guy who commented on one of my TikToks saying that the guy talking is never going to achieve anything in life. And he was wearing a construction hat, which I just thought not to shit on my fellow construction worker friends, but the dichotomy in that is just hilarious.
This
guy's not gonna do anything with his life.
Yeah.
Well, I'm busting rocks for 10 hours a day.
Yeah, fuck that. No. I'm good.
You have you heard that new Oppenheimer movie?
Yeah. Yeah, about the nuclear bomb creation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that actually looks kind of dope.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's Nolan who's the man, so I mean, it's gonna be. I'm sure it's gonna be brilliant either way. But yeah, like thinking about like the creation of something like that,
Man.
and like like what happens when we have our internet's version of the nuclear bomb?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like with all these social media conglomerates and all that, it's kind of a weird connection. But like, I don't know.
EMPs are a thing, so I mean that would be the equivalent. I think, like an EMP to technology, that'd be like a digital nuclear device, knock out all communications, all that shit. Could you imagine living in a black age? No electricity, nothing.
No, I'm kidding.
Fuck. Like no electricity, nothing. Like
Yeah.
people would panic. That goes back to the cell phone thing. Like so many people are dependent on this device that if we just lost it all, what would you do? I'm probably gonna go back to breaking my arms, falling out of trees and shit because I'm climbing them. But I got big. I'm not little no more. I'm a big boy. I'm gonna break a branch. Like it's gonna happen. I'm gonna fuck myself up on the way down. I'm gonna hit the ground. I'm crying. I'm gonna say it was worth it. Like memory.
It's fucking crazy, dude. Kind of a random question. Do you that's just what we're about on the podcast, random questions. What's your pick for the 2024 presidential election?
Who are our candidates?
I don't know. Who do you think?
Oh,
we
shit.
don't have anybody officially. I mean, I think Trump officially said he's gonna run, but
Did he?
yeah. Do you think he actually has a chance?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Not Biden. I definitely get that one. Not Biden.
You think he's gonna live? I thought he would have died by now. I'm not even gonna.
I'll be honest. Yeah, I thought so too. He's old.
He's old.
He doesn't remember shit. Like at all. Like he can't read.
Yeah.
I've listened to a couple of his speeches. He can't read shit. Like I know you're not memorizing that. There's a fucking teleprompter in front of you, and you can't read that. Like okay.
It gets to the point where he just has a speech that he can barely get through, and then he just like cowers at where like reporters are like begging, trying to like get their question on him.
Yeah.
And he's just like cowering, like can't even handle it.
I don't know. I feel like so we've had a businessman. That was we've had weapons manufacturers. That was I feel like every president we've had is so maybe we should do like a porn star. Let's hire a porn star. Just fuck America. You like that one? I make myself laugh.
Which porn star are you nominating?
I don't know.
It has to be in their politics.
Yeah, I don't know. Me, I'm nominating myself. I'm a porn star. That's new. We're gonna add that to my title. Make a couple videos, put it out there. Pornhub pays good, I heard. So, fuck it. That's all you need, right?
Yeah, I think you and I might be at a disadvantage to that, friend.
Yeah, probably. Probably. Look,
That's the one industry where it's skewed, right? Where it's flip flopped.
I'll just make music and put it in the porn. I'll be good.
I remember Pornhub used to do that back in the day.
Yeah.
They would have like video, like music contests.
Yeah.
Like, hey, submit your song, and you can
Be on a porn set.
Yeah.
I would hate to be the cameraman to that. Bro, that would be so horrible.
Having to get your camera right up in there while he's
Like-
like drilling her ass,
Like, do you look at what's going on? Do you pay attention? Do you be prepared to dodge something? Do you look at them like eye contact, like, hey, what's up? Sorry, this is here. Or like the point of view ones, like you resting on them, like your face is all on it. Just what's up, bro? How's it going? Your breath smells. You should probably brush it when you're done. Oh, there's that ass eating scene earlier. That's probably what it was.
What's crazy about like this technology is I feel like porn's eventually going to get to a point where they're going to be able to CG it so good that they're not even going to use people.
Oh yeah, I can believe that.
It's just like the all these who XYZ prominent porn star, like in 20 years they're not going to have a job.
Yeah.
Because
My favorite thing recently about porn is the VR stuff. I've seen so many TikToks where wives walk in on dudes and they're like humping the fucking couch. And there was one, he was like, he was going at it, and she screamed, "Are you fucking serious?" And he like freezes. He's like, "I didn't know you were home yet." She's like yelling at him. She's like, "Fucking hurry up and get off." And he's like, "Okay, give me a minute." He goes back to like fucking it. She's like, "That's not what I meant." It's like, these motherfuckers.
oh my god, that's insane.
My question is, if you got a whole wife, why are you putting on goggles and then pretending to hump your couch? Like, what does that do for you? Like, what's the point other than being funny when you get caught? But like,
People get sucked into it, man.
I guess.
You know.
So they're trying to grab something. Like, what the fuck are you? That shit's fucking hilarious. My TikTok's fucked. I don't know what it is. Like, I'll be scrolling, there's something about somebody getting murdered, scroll, dry humping your couch, scroll, animal fucking raping somebody. I'm just like, bro, what the fuck is going on here?
Do you think TikTok has a paid partnership with OnlyFans?
It has to be.
Right. I know the whole sex sells argument, but like...
It has to be. Like, I'm very thankful.
It's too much. It's too in there.
My TikTok doesn't run through all of that stuff. But, like, I'll be sitting with people, and they'll be scrolling. I'm like, bro, your wife would kill you if she knew this. And he's like, bro, I, like, just keeps going. I'm like, nope, mm-mm. Or I've seen the TikToks where it's like, if you can scroll through 10 and there's not a girl, I'll buy you a PlayStation or something like that. And it's like, the minute you're a man, it's like, girl. And it's like, what? You set me the fuck up. Like, I was just on it 20 minutes ago, and there was not a single woman. The minute you say you'll buy me a PlayStation, girl, it's like, fuck. It's setting you up. Promise.
Do you think porn is harmful in relationships?
No. I don't. That's a flat answer for me because it's natural. It's one of those things. Like, as men are horn dogs. You're gonna watch porn. It happens. Like, I think where it becomes harmful is if you hide it. Like, no, babe, I don't do that. Like, is it weird to masturbate to the picture of your girlfriend? Because I think that is. Like, just call them. So, but then there's that flip side of you're doing whatever to another woman or whatever. Yeah. That's a tough one. I don't personally think it is. Like, if I found out my girl was watching porn, I'm like, all right, what's your search history? This is going to be that Kevin Hart thing where it's the polar fucking opposite of me. Like, and Kevin Hart's like tall, and she fucking, so he got the little claw arm. Like, it's gonna be the polar opposite. But I think as long as you don't hide it, no.
So it's just a matter of, I mean, it's like you said, communication. Like, communicate with your partner.
I feel like that's the biggest thing in every relationship, though. Just proper communication.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think that there's a part that like hijacks, like, I know this sounds like really, quote unquote conservative, but like the bare, like, you're with your partner and like, your intention is like, just be with her. Do you think there's something that porn robs of that?
No, I don't think so. Because, I mean, unless you're watching porn with them, then maybe, because obviously your attention's elsewhere. But like, I don't watch porn with people. Like, I might sit down with my girl and watch porn if she wants to. My whole goal on that, if we're watching something, I want you to mirror what they're doing. Like if she's got
tutorial lesson.
Yeah, if she's got snot coming out of her nose for some shit, I want snot out of your nose. Like, that's what we're watching. But I also didn't pick this video. You picked this video. So now this is your job. But yeah, otherwise it's like I'm not watching it with nobody. Like, yeah. So it's one of those. I don't think that it's robbing anything, unless you're looking up specific intimate type porn. Because then at that point it's like now you're searching for something you're missing. So, but that kind of falls into the whole people who cheat thing. For me, it's like if you're horny, just call them. Why would you go separate? If you're searching for intimate things in porn, why would you not just ask to do those things? But again, with communication. Yeah. So.
Yeah, well, it kind of goes back to like, saying men are dogs. Like, I think there's like, men are biologically like predisposed to like spread their seed to as many partners. Yeah. So there's like this like variety, like almost like chemical that like I feel like a man naturally fights.
That's fair.
you know. And I'm sure there are women who do too.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I'm not gonna call them the name that they're called, but female dog, right? If I cannot be the only one that's a dog, like if you're gonna call me a dog, you're a fucking dog, and if you're not a dog, you're a cat or a cow or something. We can get into some very disrespectful animal terms. Just accept you're a dog as well, then. Because if I call you a cow, now you think I'm calling you fat.
that make your trip a little harder.
Look, yeah. Like, you're a dog. Well, you're a fucking cow. Well, I got stabbed in my fucking eye. Like, who you calling fat, bitch? Yeah.
I remember I was in college and there's this chick on my floor who had never seen porn before.
What?
Yeah. So like me and this other chick were like, yeah, okay, we'll show her some porn. So like we just like sat there and we watched porn without doing anything. And it was like
educational.
Yeah, it was educational.
This is what porn is. Just so you know, they probably shot this scene 12 times.
You know, the parents did a good job, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're 19, 18. They're like, what's porn?
What's porn?
It's like, oh.
Yeah, fucking, are you Amish? Like, did you grow up under a rock? Was Patrick the Starfish?
Do you think that has a negative effect, watching at a younger age?
Yeah, I could see that. You're being exposed to something that you probably shouldn't pay attention to.
Yeah.
That's kind of like seeing your first dead body. Like, especially at a young age, now that's implanted in your head the rest of your life. Versus if you go to your first open casket funeral of a family member, like at that point, it's a natural cause. It's the life cycle. With porn, if you're exposed to sex at fucking 12, you don't hit puberty and start having sex edge until 14. Like, you might be into some things, like,
yeah.
And then you go to lose your virginity and you're trying to punch somebody in the back of the head or something. Like, porn can definitely negatively affect somebody, I think.
Yeah. So how do you think we like, obviously I'm not a parent, but like, we're not obviously, but I'm not a parent, but like,
me neither.
If we were to be parents or, you know, people our age being parents, like, how do you think you combat that? Is it just about like having that conversation at a younger age?
Yeah, I think it'd be just the minute you start, especially with social media now, like, sex is, everybody knows about it. Like, I don't think there's an age gap anymore. Like, I've got 9-year-old nephews that crack sexual innuendos. And I'm like, I look at them like, how the fuck do you know that? Like, I get ready to strangle them. I'm like, what the? And I look at their parents like, and they're like, I don't know. And, oh, somebody at school. And I'm like, you're 7. Like, what are you talking about? You're 9, whatever. Like,
probably walked on them fucking the VR couch.
Yeah. Like, I feel like the minute they say something that could be perceived as that, or like now kids say sus all the time. How do you know what that is supposed to mean? Like, when me and you say sus, it's something a little different, right? But when a child is saying it, it's meaning the same thing as us. Or like, I had my niece, she was like 6, and I cracked jokes to them like, you got a boyfriend yet? They're like, no. She looked at me, she goes, no, Uncle Derek, I'm a lesbian. I shit you not, I got yelled at by their parents. I said, bitch, you're 6. Anthony was like, don't talk to her that way. I was like, man, fuck you. Why the hell is she's 6? She shouldn't even know what that is. And she went, I like girls. Like, she knew. I think at that point, maybe conversation might need to be, like, slowly addressed. But it's still something, obviously, they've been exposed to something. So I think that's a huge thing for that talk.
Yeah. That, and this is kind of controversial territory, but like, you know, kind of when you talk about like the, you know, the trans stuff, like that is kind of like the one area that I have some issue with, where like you see kids like, you know, getting a hormone replacement or like getting surgeries before the age of 18. Like, I do think that is it's a problem, you know, especially because, you know, there doesn't really seem to be a lot of people in that community who are willing to talk about that fact, or like talk about, you know, the videos of people who, you know, they go ahead and they get the surgery and they go through their hormones and they're like sobbing because they regret it so much. And, you know,
I feel like that is a decision that, just like anything else under the age of 18, it shouldn't even be a conversation. I think parents, it's tough. Like you said, that's a tough subject, especially as somebody that's not, you know, trans or in that type of community. Yeah. I can only think of like the decisions that I made under the age of 18 that I now regret as an adult. And they're not, you know, nearly as extreme as that. Mine are like tattoos that maybe I shouldn't have got. Like, decisions or things that I did when I was younger that maybe I probably shouldn't have did that. When it's something that major, maybe at that point the parent's the one that needs to make the decision. And any parent that's like, oh, I want to be the cool parent, maybe should sit the fuck down. Like, because like you said, you're 25, you're sobbing. Or like, I know people who have gotten fixed and they have no kids, right? What happens in 10 years? You meet the love of your life and they want kids, and you've already made that decision because you decided you didn't want to pull out.
Bye bye, bitch.
Right? Like, but now it's tough. I feel like at any age there's certain decisions that's like it's forever going to be life altering. So
yeah,
I don't know. That's a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is just me personally. Like beyond the age of 18, I mean, I think you're entitled.
That's up to you. Yeah,
you're entitled to do what you want.
At 18, that's on you. And maybe it should be 21 since you can't buy alcohol or smoke anymore at 20 until 21. But I feel like if you're going to change everything to the 21, military, all that needs to go as well. If I can go die at 18, I should be able to make any decision I want at 18. Simple as that. I'm an adult, right? But when I look back at 18-year-old Derek, next month will be fucking 11 years ago. I'll be 29, so it's like 18-year-old Derek was stupid and retarded. He didn't know shit. If I knew 18-year-old Derek, I'd probably kick him in the nuts. Like,
yeah.
But, at that time, I thought I was on top of the world. I knew everything. So, I mean, at that point, the minute you turn 18, it's time to go. I prepared you to this moment. You should now maintain your own lifestyle. You should have all the skill sets as a parent to be able to pay your own bills, have responsibility, and be fine. Bye. Decisions are yours. Don't ask me for shit. Period.
Yeah, I think 18 is a good number. It's definitely not perfect. There are definitely people who are going to fall, before and after that number. But I think on average, like anything with like, with drugs or consent or like, contracts or whatever. Like, I think that should all wait until the age of 18.
Yeah.
And like, you can be pissed about that, but like, it's just a matter of common sense. It's not anti anything. It's just the simple fact of, hey, these people are children. Like,
it's tough.
It's tough. They shouldn't go in and get a tattoo, and they, at least, what is it? I think it's like 15 or 16, or maybe younger with the parents' consent.
For what? Tattoos?
Yeah.
I thought it was 18, period.
Oh, is it just 18?
I have no idea.
I don't either.
I have no clue.
But I don't know. Tattoos are a bad example, I guess. I mean, tattoos are.
Well, yeah, and that's why I kind of transitioned to the snip thing. Like that's more of a major thing. So
yeah, but, I'm not gonna lie though. I've thought about getting that snip.
I feel like everybody does. Every woman, every man, but it's one of those things of what if that changes? What if that decision? And I know like they tie it and they can unclamp it or whatever, but like
once you cross that, it's harder to
exactly.
Get back.
So now it's like, what if you decide, what if you're 40-something, all your kids are moved out, right? You got snipped when you were 30 or whatever because no more kids. All your kids are moved out. Your life's kind of become dull. You go to work, you come home, same routine. You're not really doing anything constructive. At some point, I feel like everybody has that I need to do more with my life moment. What if that's having another kid and you made that decision 10 years ago to not do that? Like, what if, your wife's like, honey, the house is quiet. Well, let's try it again. Well, hey, babe, can't. Snip, snip. Like, we could try. Probably not going to work. Odds aren't the greatest, but let's do it. Hurrah for him for having a lot of sex, but what happens when it doesn't happen?
Yeah. Do you want kids, you think, at some point?
At some point, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, at some point. Not right now, just because I'm at this crazy spot in my life where so the way I think about children and marriage are way different than everybody else, I feel. Like, I feel like if I'm going to propose and be engaged, I need to own my house. I need to have a stable bank account. I need to be able to maintain everything versus there's people that are, they're renting and they get engaged. For me, it's like, so when do you start your foundation? And, as much I rent, I know plenty of people that rent, but it's like, for me, I feel like I need to buy a house before I make that decision because the minute we get married, the next step is children. Now it's to build a family. How am I going to build a family in somewhere that, what if my landlord decides to sell this house? Now I'm homeless. I don't own my own crib. Now I'm homeless. So now I got to figure out this with my kids. But then with kids, it's the your life changes.
So you're saying that's the reason I got divorced? It's because I didn't buy a house?
Possibly. Possibly. No. Whoops.
No, you're fine. That's an interesting perspective.
Yeah, but that's like, kids for me is, your life changes. Everything I'm doing now stops. It's now about making sure they are fully prepared and adequately equipped to when they turn 18 and they decide to go off on their own, they're going to be fine. They're not calling me every 6 months, every month because they fucking forgot to pay their water bill or any of that shit. This is your responsibility now. And the reason I think that is, at 18, you start building your own life. You no longer worry about your parents. You're no longer checking in with them every day. So why, as a parent, would I want to check in with you every day? You're not doing that to me. As a parent, why would I need to pay your bill because you fucked up? You didn't talk to me for the last month, but hey, water bill's here, Dad, can you pay? No. As a parent, my job is to make sure you are adequately equipped and ready for when you leave my house, whether it's 18, 19, 20, 21, whatever, after college, whatever it is. When you leave here, you're on your own. Your bills are your bills. Your life is your life. Do this. I'll see you at holidays. It's how it is with my family. It's how it is with my friends. I see you when I can because I'm busy.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like, at what point, what if a kid decides to join the military and I don't talk to them for 9 months because they're on deployment? Right? It's, it's one of those situations where that's my job. That's my only job the minute I have a child. So when I'm ready to give up everything I'm doing to do that, then I'll cross that path. At some point, yes, because I want to see if I can do it. I want to see if I can prepare you to be good on your own and leave me the fuck alone. Like, it's a challenge. But I have friends that they're older and they're struggling hard. And I think about it, I'm like, what didn't you listen to when your parents were telling you? Like, I've been on my own since I was 12, so I'm self-taught with a lot of shit. So, like, I look at some of the resources they have that they just pissed away because they didn't realize it was a resource. And it's like, damn, you didn't listen when you were told you shouldn't have did that? Like, okay.
Yeah, that was my childhood.
Yeah, like, it's like, so it's like, and I'm sure there's things you can look back on, like, fuck, they did tell me not to do that shit. And I did it anyways. And now look at this. Like, so I look back at it and I'm like, at what point do you admit, and as a child, I don't think you can ever admit this, that you failed. Because as a child, it's not your job to succeed. It's your parents' job. It's your parents' job to make sure you have clothes on your back, food in your stomach, transportation, all that shit. You may not be able to do it on a high caliber, but as long as you have your bare necessities to survive and, not worry about somebody coming to take your kid from you. But, like, at what point does a parent be like, fuck, I failed? You got a 35-year-old kid still borrowing money from you. You got a 40-year-old kid that lives with you. Because why? At what point do you be like, fuck, I didn't prepare them to be able to do this? Because at some point, you got to realize it's a mindset thing. How didn't I equip you properly to, when you ran into this obstacle, be able to think quick on your feet to get past this obstacle? At what point did I fuck up and now you're calling me to fix your issue? It's my job to pass this information off on you. It's my job to make sure that you are prepared. But that's again, I think differently than a lot of people when it comes to shit like that. So
no. I mean, I like that. I think a big part that I'm picking up on that is, like, you are very confident in yourself that you would be a good parent. Like, you have a very, like, I'm sure that you have, like, a whole plan, an idea of how you would raise your kids. And, like, I'm just someone who does not have that. I think there are certain people that, like, have certain backgrounds that were negative, like, they have but maybe not the best upbringing, and then they don't really know, like, how am I gonna effectively raise someone? How am I gonna get to the point where I'm structured enough to do that for someone else?
And that's where I think that if you can't be like, yes, I can do that, then maybe you shouldn't be ready for that child.
Yeah.
Maybe you should take the proper steps to avoid having that child. Simply because failing as a parent can be a very negative thing.
Yeah.
Like, that can, you got a kid that grows up to be a fucking serial killer for whatever reason because they didn't have mommy's love. Fuck.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very weird, windy road on that conversation with me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's kind of it's kind of interesting with you too. Is like you are also very career driven, very focused.
Yeah.
So, you know, some of my background, like my parents were very career driven, and I feel like I lacked a lot of emotional support because of that.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, look, sorry, I know this is all gotten about me suddenly.
No, it's all good.
But you know, in the trajectory of my life, like I struggle with the idea of, like, having a kid and like not being able to. You know, not being able to be there emotionally for him because I'm so focused on whatever.
Yep. But so I didn't become career driven until after I was kind of forced into it after 21. I got into some legal trouble where I couldn't get a job. I had to figure it out. So I didn't have much of an option. I had to get on my toes, or I wasn't going to eat. I was going to fall back into how I was when I was a kid, stealing to eat and shit like that. And I'll never go back to that lifestyle. You know, sleeping on park benches and shit. I will never deal with that a day in my life. So I know every single day I have to make something happen. So now when it comes to being career driven and it goes to I'm too busy to have a kid, it's because I know when I have a kid I can't be career driven. I need to be in a position where I'm able to give my child that time, because like you said, you know, they were career driven, so you didn't have a lot of the other support that you felt you needed. And I think that you cannot be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I'm like that with everything. You can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Relationship, you know, career, friendships, any of that. Like the pace has to be set. Like I'm here. When I'm here, I'm here. You know, when I'm on the road, I'm gone. Like my friends know I'm busy. I'll see you when I come back when I have time. But I'm not, hey, I might come over and then I don't show up. Or, you know, my nephews will message me, hey, can you come hang out? And I'm like, no, but I'm out of town or I'm busy. When I have time, I'll let you know. I'll make sure to come. Because when I come hang out with you, I don't need to be, oh, fuck, I'm booking something. Oh, yeah, you want to play video? Yeah, give me 1 sec. Because now they're looking at me as a role model. Like, he's always busy. He's not paying attention to shit. So now I'm going to do it. So now they're giving that same energy to their brother or their sister, and it becomes this cycle. When it's time to be a parent, it's time to be a parent. My job is to put food on the table, pay the bills, and make sure you don't have to ask for your basic necessities. My job is now my career is now to focus on making sure you are ready and equipped to go into the real world. I should be at a position in my actual career to do that. I should be able to have a job that has a 401k, vacation time, sick time, whatever, FMLA, whatever it is. Now, that's tough when you're self-employed or whatever, but the goal of being self-employed and driving so hard is so at some point, you can just sit back and chill. You can be with your family.
Yep.
So I feel like a lot of people try to juggle those same aspects at the same time. And there's some people that do it amazing. There's also some people that just don't. So it's tough.
Yeah, I think one of my biggest criticisms of like modern parents is I think they have kids for selfish reasons. A lot of them. They have them because they don't think about like, oh, okay, am I in a position to like provide and to, you know, really set this person up for like a good life, or do I just like want to have a kid to feel good?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I need something to fill my time type thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or the whoops, it happened.
Yeah.
Like that's my favorite. Whoops, it happened. So it's tough. It's tough, but society is constantly changing, so who knows in 10 years where my mind might be at. Hopefully I have a kid before then, but like I have, with me just being me, I have certain goals that if I don't reach certain things at a certain point, it's time to not give up on that goal, but transition into a new goal. So it's, you know, it's tough. Like I know people that chase music, for example, 30, 40 years old, still not doing shit from it, not generating a full-time livable wage. For me, if I'm not at a let's say point A, for me, if I'm not there by this timeline, I'm no longer pursuing this. I'm going to take a transition to where it's no longer a full-time career, and it's going to be a hobby that brings me spare income.
Or World War III will happen.
Or World War, yeah, and I'll die somewhere. I'm fully understanding that if that happens, I'll probably die. But yeah, so it's like, you know, it's one of those things.
I hope you at least drop a mixtape before, you know,
drop fire bars like, from the battle zone. yo, pow, pow, pow.
Hey, honey, I'm on this battleground. This is probably not gonna happen. Yeah. Hit the upload button. Drop it. Yeah. Drop my mixtape. Called the farewell mixtape.
Yep. Hear gunshots in the background. I be busting at them. Pow, 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 pow. One whizzes by. Like, real life shit.
Can you imagine like World War II, but like people are just doing ciphers,
man,
instead of like, you know, busting the radio? They're just in a circle, like, no.
that World War II as a modern day thing. Everybody's TikToking as they're shooting. Just pow.
Did you ever see that movie 1917?
I don't think so.
Ooh, dude, it's about World War One, and they like filmed the whole thing. Well, they didn't actually film it, but they filmed it to look like it's 2 shots.
Oh, it's kind of a newer movie too.
Yeah, I think it's on HBO. You should definitely check it out.
I've got HBO, so I'll definitely have to check it out.
But like, you know, people, I feel like when people talk about wars, they always talk about World War II, right?
Yeah.
But people forget like how, you know, grisly and how like barren World War One was. How it was all done in the trenches and like people not moving, people starving, people having like, you know, that was like the. I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure that was like the emergence of assault rifles.
Yeah.
Like multi-shot rifles. So you have people going in with like single shotters, like, you know, just getting mowed down by these huge ass machine gun wars. Yeah. Or, you know, guns and shit. Yeah. You should check it out, man. 1917.
Yeah. I love me a good war movie. So
hell yeah. Do you have any favorites? As anti-war as I am. It's kind of
So I guess I look at, what would you classify as a war movie? Let's talk about that first.
a movie that depicts a conflict.
Okay, so Benghazi. There was a movie about Benghazi, which was
sure.
Like that would be a war movie.
What remind me what Benghazi?
So was. Benghazi was a CIA outpost. Basically the locals were supposed to help them. And they abandoned them, and they got overtaken. This is when like ISIS started to become a thing.
Yeah,
okay. And I think the ambassador ended up getting killed and stuff like that. And there was like 4 CIA contractors or 6 CIA contractors that were like a mile down from where the attack was happening. They had no orders to go, but it was Americans, so they were like, "Fuck it, let's go." They're ex-Navy SEALs, ex-Dev Group, all that shit. Went to go help and try to save everybody or whatever. Yeah, so I just wanted, because there's, you know.
No, that counts.
So I would say Black Hawk Down is probably one of my tops. And then American Sniper.
Ooh, that's such a good movie.
Yeah, I've got an infatuation with long guns, so snipers are my thing.
It's kind of interesting you like that movie, because I always found it to be a very anti-war movie.
It is. And I wouldn't say that I'm like pro-war. I would say I'm...
You just view it as a necessity.
Yeah, if I have to go, it's one of those things. Like, obviously, I know that if something happens between U.S. and Russia, it's because we couldn't mind our own fucking business. But, you know, it's like, you know, your best friend or your brother arguing with your neighbor because they're pissed off about their dog shit being in, and then a fight happens. You're just going to stand back and watch it? You're going to try to break it up? Are you going to jump the neighbor? Like, where's your standing? It's your, you know, so for me, it's like, all right, let's go. I know I shouldn't. I know we shouldn't be here, but I guess I'm gonna help, because I got to make sure, you know, people like you and her and, you know, family and dogs and shit aren't gonna get executed for whatever reason. So, but yeah, I'd say that I think it kind of gives a good outlook of, you know, being somewhere you shouldn't be, just doing a job to make sure that, you know, you're doing your part. You know, so.
Those sound like indoctrination tactics, but
yeah.
No, I mean, I see what you're saying, man. I guess I wonder, do you ever have like the "Are we the baddies" moment?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You ever like
we're the dickheads?
Yeah.
I don't think there's ever a time we're the goodies, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, we're constantly trying to push our democracy on somebody, and, you know, it's like, hey, we're just trying to expose you to it. We want to give you the option. It's like, no, we're literally kicking in people's doors, and we're shoving it down their throat, like, you should be like us. And if you're not, we're going to put a fucking base here, and we're going to make you like us. Simple. Love ya. Like, that's, yeah. I don't think there's a time that we're the good guy. So.
But that doesn't stop you from wanting to help out?
Unfortunately, no. So
interesting.
And it's like, again, it comes down to, I understand it, but if I don't, who will? In this room, there's only one of us that's like, yeah, let's do this, right? It's 33%.
Not giving her any credit.
That's 33%. There's 1/3 that's like, all right, let's do this. If I were to bring everybody else with me, you know, all the guys that, you know, from the team, and I'm still the only one there's 10 of us on my team. I'm still the only one that's like, all right, yeah. Everybody else is like, nope, not my problem. It will be when it's at your front door, though. At that point, are you going to pick up a gun? Do you even have a gun? Do you own something that's going to defend you? Because your knife's not going to stop a fucking AT-4 rocket. Like, so it's one of those things. Now, I may not be the turning point. I may not be the pinnacle of the fight or whatever, but I could be one more shot that keeps it from being here. Right? So, because the minute it's here, it's probably too late for us. Because if you think about it, majority of our fighting force is overseas. How long will it take for them to get here? Right? Well, what's our National Guard going to do? Our weekend warriors?
Well, I am kind of skeptical of like the possibility of like an invasion, like of a land invasion. I think the most effective way to have a totalitarian government is to just have people comply. You know, if you don't even have to raise a firearm and you can just make everybody obey you, I mean, the job's done.
Yeah.
I think people are hacking us through, media, through social media, through the internet,
That's fair.
through all these things. Like, I think that is a much more effective tactic than China coming in on, parachuting down with a gun or whatever. I think that's a very outdated idea.
Which up until yesterday, I agreed. To be 100% honest, up until yesterday. Because again, foreign objects that don't communicate or comply are supposed to be shot down by our Patriot system. They're supposed to be stopped before they get landbound. We had a spy balloon get landlocked for a week. Not shit happened to it until it got over the East Coast. And then we did something about it. That's what everybody's saying. Oh, boots on the ground will never happen because of these systems that are in place. The reason these systems are in place for things that don't comply, they don't communicate. Hey, airplane, what the fuck are you doing right now? If you don't comply, you're either escorted or shot the fuck down. Simple as that. Long before you get here. And those things were put into place after 9/11 because of those situations. We just had this spy balloon that does not communicate. There's not anybody on board to talk to you, and we did nothing about it. So what happens if it's in the middle of the night? This thing went a week just floating around, and it was over what they called hot zones. Okay. Yeah. How do we know that's not an EMP or something like that? EMP is just knock everything out. That's a real thing. Like, that's not just a made-up fucking term. People use those things. People have those. Okay. So at what point does a big-ass fucking C-130 come flying over us and people start parachuting out in the middle of the night? I don't know how often I look at the sky and be like, what the fuck is that? So, I do think it's very improbable for something to happen. I don't think it's impossible, though.
Sure.
But I definitely agree with what you said. Be able to get them to comply without raising a firearm or firing a shot, way more effective, way more powerful.
Yeah, so exactly. Do you like with the situation with like the Chinese balloon? Do you think that like the reason we didn't shoot down is because of like some kind of like association with China, like some like we're not gonna fuck with them, or do you think it's just incompetence?
They said it was because it was, like I said, over hot sites. They were worried about the damage, and that it was dangerous for it to drop. Right. I think if we sent the balloon over China, China would have dropped that bitch forever ago. They're like, no, sure. What are you doing here?
Well, they don't care about their civilians, so I mean, we don't either, but
yeah,
they do less.
It's one of those things of like
way less.
And I think if we would have dropped it and had the communications with China, it wouldn't have. I don't think it would have been considered an act of war. It would have been considered of, why didn't you tell me it was coming? You could have had that conversation. We potentially could have worked something out for it to come through. Don't fucking do it again. Like, simple as that. So I don't know how you feel about people just coming in your house without announcing they're coming over or being here. But if you just walk in my house and I didn't know you were coming, we're having a very unpleasant conversation about it.
Sure.
Like, you're more likely to just walk in my house if you let me, hey, I'm about to swing by. Like, oh, okay, cool. Like, different story. You just walk in my house, you're probably leaving right then. No, don't fucking do that. It's time for you to go. Like, you don't just show up unannounced. Like, and I feel like, there could have been a conversation, if it is just a civilian research thing. But the fact that you shot it down first thing lets me know you didn't believe that conversation. You waited to shoot it down because it was in populated areas or whatever, because it was like over Chicago at one point, stuff like that. And we have a Navy base in Chicago. So, I mean, that's kind of That's a hot zone. You're over, military active.
Yeah.
And it was like anything you find on it. There was no conversation back and forth about, hey, what is this? It was all very hush-hush of, hey, we're monitoring it. We're not going to do anything about it right now because, it's unsafe. We're going to take care of it, though. Don't stop asking questions about it. It was all of the press releases. It could have just been an accident, but they said it had maneuverable devices. So it didn't just float here. It was kind of guided, and it kind of, up and down for a week.
Yeah.
That just doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah. It's interesting that when you were talking about the division of World War III, it'd be Russia and China. I've always felt that the U.S. was way more in bed with China than Russia is.
Yeah, there's a possibility, and it could just be me going off of lack of information on that whole relationship.
Sure. Yeah, nobody here's a fucking journalist.
Yeah, it could be just lack of information or improper information fed by the media. That's a thing. Yeah. We all know that propaganda is a huge thing. But it's like whenever you think of those conversations, it's always China and Russia. I mean, they share a continent. They have to be friends. It's like us and Canada. Canada just stays out of shit.
I don't think we're friends right now.
Yeah, but I'm saying Canada normally just stays out of shit. They stick to their self. Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard that type of situation out of China and Russia. I've never heard of them beefing. I've never heard of them just being like, whatever, we're friends, we're not friends, whatever it is. It's every time you think about something or the conversation's sparked, and this is probably where I get the idea from, is it's normally Russia and China together. And then they throw Iran in there. And I feel like Iran's that one-off that just, for some reason, we just don't get along with. And they're just, fuck you, America. And the minute they get the opportunity, they're probably going to fuck you, America. So, but again, it could just be wrong information or whatever it is that I have that drives that narrative in my head. But
sure,
that's where I think it's going to go.
Hey, no, the fact that you're even willing to acknowledge that says a lot. And that is I struggle with this too. I always think about are my political views lackluster because of some kind of insider information I'm lacking? Everybody likes to think they're right, but how many people really are? It's kind of interesting.
But that's also why I understand that my decision to enlist, if that were to happen, it's not a justified decision on a long front or a big picture thing. It's justified for me because I live here. I need to do my part to protect the people. I care less about those fuckers in the White House or the people, not minding their business. I care about my people. And if I live here, I can't call Russia and be like, hey, don't worry about me. I don't give a fuck about these guys. They're going to see me and they're like enemy.
Reach out to them through your music.
Yeah,
that's more effective than the military.
Yeah,
Make a fucking fire mixtape, give it to Vladimir Putin, and maybe he'll be like, hey, this silence guy.
I'll be put in a fucking black hole somewhere. CIA is going to pick me up on my way home. Let's go, bitch. I'm like, bro, it was what? It was a song. I didn't mean anything by it. What happened to silence? Who knows?
Well, I'm going to send you as much anti-war literature and film as I can to keep you here, buddy.
There you go.
Keep you here.
I'm all for more information. It helps me make any decision that I need to make. It also allows me to see different aspects of things. I try to say that I'm a very understanding person of other people's points of views and everything like that. I try not to be closed-minded, so it's all welcomed.
Hell yeah! I don't think you're closed-minded at all. I think you're a very open-minded individual.
I appreciate that.
I appreciate you, man. Silence, it's been a pleasure. I always say for someone named Silence, you talk way more than you would think. You know, I feel like sometimes people are always like, "Oh, this podcast is gonna suck."
Yeah,
this guy's named Silence.
Yeah, no, the nickname derives from some negative things in my life when I was quiet. Now I'm not. So I tend to tell people silence is the only sound you're forced to listen to. I think we talked about that. Yeah, we did talk about that. Yeah, it's the only sound you're forced to listen to, and I have a lot to say.
That's awesome.
So, but you ask her, ask anybody else. When I'm in a room, I'm uncomfortable. You won't get a word out of me. I just stand there.
I feel that, man. Where can people find you? What are your socials? What do you got coming down the tube line?
Silence, the number 9, SHH on all social media platforms. Then I got some music I'm going to be pushing down people's throats coming soon. We have the T1 anniversary party in March that I will be performing at. That'll be my first performance of the year.
Nice.
So check that out. I'll have tickets and everything. So.
Hell yeah. Hey, man, I hope to see you in Des Moines more often. I hope
Yes.
connect with Lolo. Maybe he can even get you to perform. I'm sure he would.
Definitely.
I'm sure that'd be something you could do.
Definitely, I'll have to check him out.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. This is McAllister Hours. As you know, we got a website, McAllisters.com, where you can, support us there and donate directly. We also have a Patreon where we have exclusive content. You can go check out stuff there, too. And, we're on basically anywhere. TikTok, Insta, all the shit. We're on it. Have a good night, everybody.
Laters.
Peace.